Actually, my question kind of leads off that.
Amazing, like you planned.
It's to do with feminism. Why I love your character Morgana is because of how Morgana was very oppressed by the patriarchal society of that time period. And Morgana sort of chose to stand up to the challenges of Merlin and Arthur and the entire sort of patriarchal dictator sort of society. And Morgana was like, enough is enough. How do you sort of view that and as someone that we can sort of, as females, look up to? Because that was sort of like the start of my journey into a world of feminism and in a world of...
But I think you've answered your own question.
Yeah, but I want to see what your view is on it.
But this is what I'm sort of saying, is the fact that you've answered your own question illustrates us how powerful a character she is that somebody can view her and come away from it going, this is my intro into feminism and powerful women, and that's what's so fantastic about a character like Morgana, is she is written as the bad guy because she is a reflection of the time she's written in. You know, it is, you know, Christianity, the woman is evil, she is powerful and she's alluring, but she's, you know, wrong and bad. And you can then take that and see that that's what's being done and take it and go, no, that I know that's not what women are. So that's what's amazing about her. And the fact that you can come up and ask that question means that she's doing her job. Does that make sense? Yeah. Good job. Hey.
My question is, what was your favourite part about working with Odette, and what was your favourite scene with her?
What's my favourite part about working with Odette? Tequila. No, that's not working with Odette. Sorry. No matter how hard a day is, Odie can make it better. Like, she's got whip-smart sense of humour. And then, like, there are some tough days where she's, like, in that rain suit. She's lying like this because she can't sit. Because, dear God, nobody wants to be in a super suit. I swear to God, they are so uncomfortable. Please don't ever give me superpowers. But she never complains. And she makes everything fun. And she's always up for, you know, a glass of wine and a chat. And she's just a good person. And I don't know how many of those there are. But she's a good woman, you know? It's pretty simple. No, you're not a good woman.
No, there's one on the stage.
Not you.
No.
There you. Don't try and be charming now. And what's my favourite scene with Odette? Actually, we did a whole... When I'm trying to get rain to come out of Sam, all of that stuff in the big glass box, we filmed about 2 days, 2 episodes, just me and Odie. And there's something that comes out of working with an actor, just the same actor, day in, day out. You get this sort of shorthand and things become very easy. And when you're doing sort of a 17-hour day, you kind of jump a few steps with another actor that you don't necessarily do when you're just coming in once every few days. And you get a sense of intimacy. And I think Odie and I got that with our characters. There was this... It was more than what was on the page, we hoped. And my favourite moments were doing that and then sitting in my apartment watching with her afterwards and seeing what we had created up on the screen together. It's nice when you're friends in real life and you see the friendship happen on screen, because you don't ever expect that, you know, it's just an added bonus.
Thank you.
She's a good woman, guys.
Hi.
Hi, love.
I'd like to ask, Morgana at the start of Merlin, she's like good and she's trying to get her goal by being good, and by the end of it she just decided that she can't do that. What was it like playing that transition just from good to evil?
See, I don't see that she transitioned from good to evil. I see that she stayed true to what she believed, just she stopped believing what other people told her. So I don't think that... Okay, if you think about it, no villain thinks they're being a bad guy. Every villain thinks they're doing the right thing. Nobody sets out to be, I'm going to be mean. They all think they're doing it for the right reason, and it's just whoever tells the story is the hero. So, you know, if I was going to tell the story, obviously Morgana would be the hero, but, you know, Colin tends to have some things to say about that, but we know we don't listen to him. So I don't think she ever thought she was going evil. I think she thought, I can't live the way I did before. I have to be who I'm going to be, and I have to fight for people who are like me. And I think that's the change that happened. She didn't wake up one day and was suddenly like, all right, I'm going to start wearing black because I'm evil now. she was like, okay, I can't be this person everybody wants me to be because it's a lie. So I'm going to go and be who I really need to be and fight for what I want and need and who I am. Does that answer your question?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi.
Hi, gorgeous.
So I love Morgana, but my question is actually about Lena.
Cool.
I was wondering, unfortunately she wasn't on the crossover episodes yet, and I was wondering what show you think she would be best to cross over in? And
Lena Luthor show. She is queen of the world and everybody does what she says. And she's given credit for all the things she does.
And I don't know if you have watched Katrina's character on Arrow, is it?
I have not, but I've seen pictures and it's quite delicious.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Was that the question? Go, Katrina.
I was going to ask if you think they would get along, but
I mean, I don't see why not.
I think that would be great.
Okay, cool. Hello. Can I just say, there are so many amazing costumes, Supergirl and flags and everything today. It's so cool.
Thank you. So you've been in a lot of like historical dramas. I was wondering, a lot of people have like a favourite historical period or event. Like for example, mine is the destruction of Pompeii in 1879. Is there anything that you have a particular interest in or kind of geek out about or whatever?
I'm sure a fair few people know the answer to this. I make no bones about the fact that I love Imperial Russia, from the emancipation of the serfs to about 1917, 1922. It's like it just blows my mind that so much can happen and change the world in such a short space of time, and we're still living with the effects of it. And that's what's amazing about history, is these events that sort of sometimes happen in isolation have ongoing effects throughout the world, even now that we're feeling them. And I think that's very special, so that's why I like history. But people have asked me how I got into Russian history, and I was thinking about it the other day. And it's a book called Nicholas and Alexandra, if anybody else is interested, by a guy called Robert K. Massey. And it's a book about the last Tsar and his wife and their family, and how the weaknesses and the strengths of one man sort of colluded to create the fall of a massive superpower. I'm digressing, guys, I'm sorry. Yes, Russian history is the answer, short answer.
Very quick second question. What's it like getting eaten by a dinosaur?
You know, I'll have worked for like 40 years, and I swear that's the only thing everybody will ever remember. And people talk about the movie now, and they're like, I don't really remember much, but you died really well. I was like, yeah, that's like my moment of thing. It was cool, is the answer. They dropped me 11 stories head first. It's always a good day's work. Thanks, love. Hi.
Hi, I was just wondering, what's it like to work on the set of Frontier with Jason Momoa?
Amazing. I'm so sad I'm not on that job anymore. It broke my heart. They should not have killed her. It's the only time I was like, really, dudes? Really? The thing about Jason that you're surprised at is he's such a sweetheart. Like, he's a huge guy. I mean, he's massive. But he is the most gentle, most sweet, most like, he's like a little kid. He's like excited and happy, and like he really loves that role, and he brings so much of himself to it. And there's something amazing about working with an actor who just wants to play in a scene. Like, he just wants to have a laugh and find the good bits and the mess and the fun, and that's very free. Because sometimes there are actors that want to stick to the page, and that's fine. You work with them the same way you work with anyone else. But when somebody's like, they want to play around the edges, and that's Jason. And the man can drink, and he loves Guinness, and so automatically I'm like, dude, we're gonna get on. It was cold though. There's one scene where he like gets into the water, I don't know if anybody's seen it, but there's one scene where he's got a fever and he has to get underneath the ice. The man did that in Newfoundland in the winter. I mean, it's mental. He took off his top and got underneath the ice. Nobody does that in Canada in the winter, for a good reason. The man's mad. Delightfully, deliciously Guinness-flavoured man. Hi.
I'm currently studying at drama school here in Christchurch.
Congratulations. Round of applause for the drama student.
Thank you. It's a pretty big dream of a lot of actors to be involved in big budget, like fantasy and sci-fi genres, and I was wondering if you had any advice for young actors wanting to break into those seemingly very exclusive genres.
Do they seem exclusive?
I guess
because it's weird because when you're in it, you don't know if it seems.
I guess probably because of the big names that are involved in it. Yeah.
I think it's like anything, you know. Your first job is. I'm still shocked every day that I have a job, and every time someone casts me, I'm like, really? The first thing I always ask is like, can I call my mum? Because if I call my mum, that makes it real, and you can't take it back because nobody is ever going to make my mum sad. So, hello, hi Courtney. Well, I'll tell everyone that, shall we? Damien has left us to go to the bathroom, guys. Now you know what it's like being an actor. Everything you do is announced over a radio mic. It's great fun. Any job you get is a struggle. It's hard, you know, but there's a certain amount of luck, there's a certain amount of talent, there's a certain amount of everything. But the great thing I always say about being an actor, is every audition is like buying a lottery ticket. Every time you do one, you're in with a chance as much as anybody else to win it. And as much as it is talent or anything else, once you get to the audition stage, everyone's kind of on a level playing field. Once you get to that room, and in that room, what you do in that room is what's going to get you the job. And you have as much chance as this person, or me. It's the best person on the day that gets the job. And so it may seem insurmountable, and it does, trust me. And even now, like I said, I go in and I audition, I'm like, oh. But somebody's got to get the job. And you have as much chance as anybody else to do it. So you go into the room and you give it your best shot, and you can come away with, I don't know, the lead in Amazon's new Lord of the Rings, which I hear is shooting here, so you have a pretty good chance of getting that. Do you know what I mean? It may seem insurmountable, but I promise you if I can do it, like anyone in this room can do it. Because I seriously had no idea what I'm doing and still don't.
That's a wonderful way of looking at it. Thank you.
But listen, it's buying a lottery ticket. You got to be in it to win it.
Thank you so much.
Hi.
You've got a camera. Hello.
Hi. When you were told Merlin was going to end, did you feel it was the right time to do so? And remembering that Kilgara said Arthur would rise again, how would you envision that?
It's a real privilege as an actor when you're doing a TV series to be able to do it from day one to day end. It's very rare. And what also we had was, we were all signed for 5 seasons. We all knew we were doing 5. And we all, I mean, to be fair, we all wanted it to end at 5 because we wanted to be able to tell the story of our character. I didn't want to give up my character to anybody else. And the thought that somebody else would now play her in a reboot, no way. Mine. So it is a privilege to be able to say that we told the story in completion for all the characters the way we wanted to do it. And so were we sad when it ended? Of course we were sad, but we also felt that it was the right time and it was a privilege to be able to tell the ending the way it was always envisioned. And Arthur may rise again? Sure. But I'm not going to let anyone else play my character, she's mine.
And what was the story about you and Colin bringing your own tea on set because you didn't like the stuff that they gave you?
I only drink the one type of tea and it travels around the world with me. It's Irish tea, it's Barry's tea. So you know, there you go. I swear to God, I'm like, my mum hooks me up. It's like a drug mule. I ring her up, I'm like, Mum, I'm getting low. She's like, it's okay, I'll send a secret package. And she's now already hooking up so many other people because once they try it, they don't go back. It was the same with Colin. We used to drink the same stuff. It's good shit, guys. I'm just saying. 3 things the Irish do well, and tea is one of them.
Why do you think Kara hasn't told Lena that she's Supergirl?
I think there's a lot of reasons why Kara hasn't told. I think Kara's afraid. You know, she's still a Luther, and there's still that almost genetic fear between, you know, the L family and the Luthers that maybe she won't be my friend if she knows the truth about me. I think from a character point of view, I can't say for Melissa, but I would imagine that's got something to do with for it. Also, I know you've heard me say this before, but from a story point of view, I think Supergirl needs somebody that she can be vulnerable with. And, you know, if everybody knows that she's a superhero, she's got to be a superhero all the time. So it's nice for her to have one friend that she can, like, you know, eat ice cream with and cry, and you know that friend you got. That's what she is for her.
Thank you.
You're welcome, love. Hello again.
Hello. My question this time was, have you found a major difference in working on like English sets versus American sets?
Craft. If you all don't know what craft is, it's basically free food. I have no idea how I fit into any of my costumes because it's anything you can imagine, covered in butter. It's brilliant. But we don't have that in England. What else don't we have? It is very, very different. You tend to be able to shoot longer on an American show. They tend to have more money, so they can just go for longer hours. On Merlin, we would start at 7:30 and we would finish on 7:30 on the dot, no matter if we had scenes more to go. And there's something about knowing you have to finish at a certain time, which just makes you get through things quicker. So we would shoot more in a day on Merlin than we tend to do on Supergirl. Well, no, we shoot the same, but we shot it in Merlin in less time. So it's just a different way of working. You just become, you know. We didn't also on Merlin have, you know, flying people on wires, so that does take a bit more time. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, I was just wondering, on a more personal note, if you could relive any moment in your life, what would it be?
You know, I think about stuff like this, and there's some stuff in my past that I'm, you know, less than proud of, and how I reacted. But I know this sounds weird, but it's taken me a long time to get to the point where I'm actually pretty happy with who I am. And everything that I've done, good or bad, has made me the person I am now. And so I don't think I could take any of it back, because the bad stuff or the good stuff, I've all learned something from it to get to where I am now. And if you had have told me at age 15 that I was going to be sitting here talking about me being an actress, I would have cried. So I'm proud of everything I've done, good and, well, not proud of the bad stuff, but, you know, I'm proud that I'm here. Everything I've done has made me get here. So I'm not going to apologize for anything in the past. If that makes sense. Seems like a very odd answer. We're all glad that Damien's back from the bathroom, guys.
The back teeth were floating.
TMI.
Hello, this is a Lena question.
Okay.
Haven't seen Merlin, so can't answer that one.
Don't worry.
Anyway, do you prefer being a good Luther or a Luther in a green suit making trouble?
Well, I've never been a Luther in the green suit making trouble, so I can't.
But would you like to be?
Would I like to be? I don't want to be in a suit because I'm lazy. You see, I think the problem with a character that's canon in a comic book series is that you think that you know where she's going to go. You think you know that because she's a Luther, she's going to be bad. But who's to say that's the way it's going to be? You know, just because you can't define somebody by their last name. That's giving the game away. So I don't know who she's going to be. So I can tell you it's more fun being bad than being good. Yes, it is. But I don't know who she's going to be yet. So
because we're up to that bit where she's just broken free of the glass box or whatever it is, and that's the end. That's where we're at in the series at the moment.
Ah, well, you're just going to have to watch, aren't you?
Yeah, of course.
Everybody tune in, please.
Anyway, yeah, so I was just wondering what they were going to do with that.
Oh, I couldn't possibly tell you that. Obviously, I would never do that. I will totally tell you.
But you prefer villains to heroes?
Pardon?
You prefer villains to good guys?
Always. Always. Doesn't everyone? Is that just me? Okay. You got a microphone.
I like anti-heroes.
Yes. I feel like because nobody feels like they are always good all the time. I don't know if it's me. I feel like, you know, I'm a flawed person. And the weight of being a hero would be way too much for me, and I'm not capable of that because I'm human. There's no, you know, I tend to identify more with the flawed, the massively flawed. Hello, love.
Hi. I was just wondering, with Lena and Supergirl's relationship at the moment, do you think it's possible that they're going to be able to fix that and be friends again?
I think the great friendship for Lena was always Kara rather than Supergirl. I think she had great respect for Supergirl and she admired her. But her best friend was always Kara. And, you know, you have to remember for Lena, they are two very different people. I know, guys, I know, two very different people. But I think it was easier for her to be angry with Supergirl because she didn't have the great friendship and love that she had for Kara. So when Supergirl, I mean, she was destroyed when Supergirl sort of disappointed her, but I think if Kara ever did that, if she found out, I think she would be even more destroyed. So do I think that Supergirl and her's relationship could be repaired? I think they could get back to, I think she still respects her, but do I think they'll get back to, I think it's less important for Lena than her friendship with Kara. Does that make sense?
On that, do you think it's going to affect Kara's friendship with Lena?
I think you'd have to ask Melissa.
Thank you.
Welcome. Hello.
I was just wondering what it was like moving on after Merlin finished. Like, how did it feel?
Petrifying. It was everything I'd known. I mean, when I say I learned everything as an actor on Merlin, I did. It was my drama school. It was my baptism of fire. It was everything. And it was a privilege to be able to do that in such a safe environment. And then they took that away. And I was out in the world all on my own, having never really done anything without the security of Merlin before. It was absolutely petrifying. And so when I went into Dracula, I was like so scared. And I look at the first few scenes that we filmed that, and I just feel like Lucy is so petrified when I watch it. But sort of the friendship and the care that I had from Jess and Smurfs and Ollie and Nonzo and Johnny and everyone really helped me get through that. So when I look at Dracula, I'm almost more proud of it than I am than anything, because of where I was when I was doing that and where I ended up at the end of it. That kind of makes sense.
Thank you.
It's very scary. Not Dracula, that's not scary, I don't think. Hi.
Hello. I was going to ask if you... Oh, two questions.
Of course.
Number one, do you have a New Zealand accent that you can put on for us?
I would imagine it's very insulting. So I'm going to go with no. I can't even do an Irish accent, so let's say I probably can't do a Kiwi one.
She's lying. The Kiwi accent is awesome.
Stop that.
She just doesn't want to share it with you.
I'm just being mean. I really can't do it. It's terrible. You should ask Daniel. His is really good. His has gotten really, really good.
Oh, he asked him this morning. He said yours is better.
He lied. Also, he came back and he was like, everybody thinks I'm Irish. I'm like, yeah, that's because they think you're a good man. No one thinks that about Daniel, sorry. And what's the other part of your question?
And the other question is, do you know what Hogwarts house you're in?
Do I know? Apparently, according to the internet, I am the whole head of Ravenclaw. There we go, yes. Which makes my brother very happy, because apparently we're a Ravenclaw family, because he's tested. I do believe most of my characters would probably be Slytherin. I mean, to be fair, let's go with yes, they would be. But I'm very happy to have my own Hogwarts house. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, love.
I'm surprised. I would have thought Hufflepuff.
And why would that be a bad thing? You say it like it is. Hello.
Was it hard filming the Supergirl when you were having a fight with Supergirl in the
When I was having a fight with Supergirl in the lab?
Like, was it hard filming it when you were having a fight?
Yeah, because Melissa had tears in her eyes, and I forget that she's acting. I'm like, oh, dude, no, I don't mean it. So sometimes it is. Sometimes you're surprised by the other actor that you're working with, because you think you know how they're going to play a scene, and when they do something else, you can forget that you're like, because what Lena's saying is actually pretty hurtful. And I just thought, she's Supergirl, she'll be fine. But when Melissa played it, she was really affected by it, and then I felt really bad. But remember that Lena wasn't supposed to feel bad. So it's a bit difficult when you're an actor to remember that acting isn't real. When you're working with other good actors, they can make you forget that. Melissa's a very good actor, so she does make you forget. I don't know how she does that job. She makes that scene all so believable when she's running around in that cave. It's a gift. That woman is extremely talented. So, did that answer your question, love? Thank you very much.
Hi. My mother actually likes the blanket you got, so I'm wondering where you got that from.
It looks really
Thank
soft.
you. It's really soft. And it's Alexander McQueen. Yeah, it's basic. I would like to point out this is usually my dog's blanket. I know, it's terrible. I bought this as like a treat present for myself. My dog took one look at it and went, yoink. I've got endless pictures of him wrapped up in it, which is just like spoiled dogs of Instagram.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Thank you.
So my question is around Lena's character.
Mhm.
It's quite a complex character. She is a bit of a child prodigy. She's got a couple of doctorates. And I quite like how you portray the internal argument that she has between her predisposition to the Luther Empire and your
That was me, my fault.
and her personal sort of her other argument with what's good with humanity, and I quite like that. And thank you for trying that. The other part of my question I've just literally forgotten. Oh yes, Lena's got some other tricks up of her sleeve, I'm sure of it. Can you comment on what you think that Lena's got hiding up there? And we know that Supergirl's renewed for season 4. Are we going to see a bit more of Lena? And are we going to see a bit more of
I can tell you she's in season 4.
Yeah.
But, what can I tell you about Lena that doesn't give anything away and will get me fired?
Or can you comment on what you think that Lena has got hiding up her sleeve that?
I think we've only scratched the surface with Lena, and what's great is as well is because she's one of the sort of lesser known characters of the Luther family. There's quite a lot they can do with her, because she isn't so massive in the canon comic books. So there's a lot of places they can go, and I think the seeds that they've sown for her. There are a million different things that they can do. They've created this like capable, strong, intelligent, powerful, but very damaged woman. So she can go a lot of different ways, and it's just a question of what they're going to do. And I really want to give you an answer, and I can't, because they're very strict with us. Also, I'm very strict with myself and try not to read stuff that will give things away, because I would tell everyone. I'd be like, yeah, what do you want to know? Sure, I'll give you spoilers. I wouldn't even read the Jurassic script. Oh. I didn't know I died. I'm kidding, I totally did. But I was the same, I had King Arthur and I was like, no, I'm not going to read that.
Well, the worst thing is you just gave a guess and it turned out to be accurate and they thought that you'd actually given away a spoiler.
I am not a good enough actor to pretend that I didn't know. Promise, everything shows on my face. Thank you. Thanks, love. Hi, great hat. I love hats.
I was wondering how you found New Zealand so far, and if there's anything that you haven't done so far that you really want to do around New Zealand.
Dudes, I am in love with New Zealand. I swear to God. When we were up on the North Island, everyone was like, New Zealand's quite like Ireland, the weather. It was blistering sunshine. It was gorgeous. I'm going to go home and say, New Zealand has the best weather. It is the most beautiful country, and everybody should live there. And there were far less sheep than I thought. Disappointed at the lack of sheep, guys. Disappointed. This has been one of the most amazing experiences. To a person, everybody has been lovely and genuine and lovely. And just your countryside, the whole everything. I cannot say enough nice things about it. I saw kiwis. Your furry little flightless birds. Amazing. They're adorable. Basically, New Zealand is adorable. Everything. If you give me a job, I'll move here. Got bills to pay. My dog is very expensive. He demands Alexander McQueen. So, yeah. But I love it here. I do. And it's everything I thought it would be. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, New Zealand.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. I have 2 questions, but I don't know if we've got enough time to do it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do one and then jump back.
Yeah. So the first one was just, you're obviously famous for a lot of your TV shows, but you've also been in movies and documentaries, and I was wondering about what are the sort of differences you find acting for each different medium?
It's like, I always just try to make the words not sound shit. Do you know what I mean? It's like you give me the words and I try to make them sound like there's something I would say. That's the basis of my entire acting. I'm like, let's just try and make these sound real. And so whether it's, Save the Chemicals, Not Me, or Shakespeare, it's the same feeling. You're just trying to make the other person believe it. And so I didn't go to drama school, and you can answer this for me. They probably teach you lots of different tricks between the difference between TV and film and theatre. I don't know any of those. So basically all I do is make it sound real. And the only difference I've ever been told to do is Katie, this is a movie. Your face is 2 stories high. Just do less. Just do less. So I think if somebody was more trained, they'd have a really good answer for that. But I'm just like, just make it not sound shit. Thanks, love.
Hi. I was just wondering, what was it like working with Anthony Stewart here? Because I'm a big Buffy fan.
Tony. Oh. Let me give you an illustration of why Tony is a nice guy. We are filming in France the first time. And so I barely know him. And I'm like a kid. And this is Buffy. So I grew up with Buffy. The man's a genius. And my brother calls me up and he's like, Katie, this is weird. But my best friend, it's her birthday. And she's a huge Buffy fan. And she's a huge Giles fan. And I didn't get her anything for her birthday. So, would you be able to ask Tony to wish her happy birthday? But is it possible that he does it as Giles? And could he possibly say that he's proud of her as Giles? I'm not going to lie, guys, there's a bit of wine taken at this point. So I was like, sure, I'll ask him, no problem. He took my phone, he phoned her up, and as Giles, he wished her a happy birthday and said, I'm so proud of you. That is a good man. He barely knew me, he didn't know her, and he just wanted to give her a good birthday. That is why he is a diamond gentleman.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hi.
So I think Slash is one of my favourite TV shows
Really?
on Netflix. Yeah, oh my gosh, I get terrified of horrors and stuff, but I still love them, and Slash is such a good anthology, and I loved you in the first season so much.
Thank you.
What I found really interesting was the relationship between you and your parents' killer in the prison, and how that developed over the TV series that you were on. And I was just wondering how you felt about that and how you found acting it and stuff over this season.
There was a moment when we were filming it, and the writer comes to me, and we're filming a scene where there's something with the soul, I'm trying to remember. But anyhow, we're filming a scene, and we've been filming about 4 episodes already, and he comes up to me and goes, I've changed my mind. He's not really your dad. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. We've only filmed half the episodes, but no worries, we'll just go with that. We film another 2 episodes, and he comes back to me and goes, change my mind again. He is your dad. And I'm like, dude, I'm doing my best here. So if it all seems like I wasn't quite sure, that is why. I think in the end he was quite smart, the writer. He was trying to make, if I didn't know the answer, then the audience wouldn't know the answer. And at the time I was really frustrated because I was like, I'm trying to tell a story here, but I think he was actually doing it on purpose so that I wouldn't give it away. So he was keeping it back so that the audience would be kept in the dark as well. If that makes sense.
I love sort of picking stuff apart and just noticing relationships and everything, and I just found it really amazing between you two. So
thank you very much. That might be why, because I didn't know what I was doing at the time, because it kept changing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, love.
And nothing foretells the end of the panel than someone whose family's just been killed by an entire serial killer. This is the last one-on-one panel we have.
Oh,
You must be happy about it.
so sad.
So sad, but we get to hang out with you tomorrow.
No, we're not allowed.
You're done. That's it.
Really?
Yeah, well, look, Garrett's waiting to come on.
Come on, Garrett. See, I knew that all these people here weren't waiting for me.
Hey, Christchurch, please, she's been fantastic. She's been
I just got lipstick all over this. Sorry.
It's okay, no, Garrett wears the same shape. Thank you. Now, speaking of our next guest, if you're a Star Trek fan, he was last in this country in 2003. Now, if you think back to 2003, 50